Hi guys, it's Phil here, the Ordinary Watch Guy, and this week I want to do a watch focus on the Longines Spirit Flyback Chronograph. In the last week to 10 days, I've had so many watches on my wrist, looking from a micro brand called Bowcroft, a beautiful watch by the way, at a £400 price point, all the way up to an £11,000 Rolex Deep Sea. We're talking Oris, Rado, Tag Heuer, Tudor, Bremont. The piece that got to me overall on my wrist was definitely the Longines. I was not ready for that at all. To me, Longines has always been a bit of a beige brand that's kind of mid-tier and just, you know, somewhere in the middle there. I just felt for ages that it was pretty meh. But recently, I've started to focus in a bit more on what they're offering and how strong Longines are and how their brand has grown over recent years pretty consistently, but also how phenomenal their heritage is as a watch house. It's like I was expecting a Korma and I got a Madras. Okay, I'm not talking about a Vindaloo, but fair play, when you're expecting a Korma, a Madras hits differently. The first watch of theirs that really made me sit up and pay attention was a Longines Spirit. And I was killing time in town maybe a couple of years ago, and I wandered into a jewellery store and tried a few watches on. I was immediately impressed by the Longines Spirit in that kind of Shaquille O'Neal, I have to apologise to you, I was not familiar with your game type of way.
I owe you an apology, I wasn't really familiar with your game.
It's worth noting, actually, that I've seen this exact watch on Chrono24 for as little as £1,500. That particular Longines Spirit, which is a hell of a pickup in mint condition with box and papers. This was enough to keep me checking in on Longines and just keeping an eye on what was going on over there. I have really liked what I've been seeing, to the extent that I do think Longines are a severely underrated brand. Although maybe everybody else is hip to this and it's just me. My specific focus in this video is the Spirit Flyback Chronograph. I mean the one on the blue strap. The blue strap with the blue face is the one that's really got to me. This watch is at the top of the Longines price spectrum. It's £4,250 brand new on the blue fabric, £4,350 on the bracelet, or a whopping £5,000 in titanium. And there are a lot of damn good watches that you can buy new or with box and papers in immaculate condition for that type of money. So is it worth it? First and foremost, this is a flyback chronograph, which was developed as a mechanical technology to benefit pilots. It allows the user to reset the running chronograph without stopping it. In a traditional chrono, you press 4 times. You start your chrono, press. You stop your chrono, press. You reset your chrono, press, and then you restart your chrono, press. In a flyback movement, you simply press the button to restart. And this technology was groundbreaking, an innovation that Longines themselves were responsible for in 1925. In the context of aviation, at that time, this facilitated extra accuracy for pilots needing to measure the time in the context of point-to-point journeys, fuel management, and coordinated manoeuvres where communications options were severely limited. For those who are not aware of Longines and their brand, they are the aviation watch of the 1920s. When planes were the new technology, Longines were the pilot's watch to have. Their roster of achievements and pioneers is to die for, with great aviators like Eleanor Smith, Amelia Earhart, Wiley Post, Hans von Schiller, Howard Hughes, Richard Byrd specifically crossed Antarctica for the first time in an aircraft, wearing and navigating with a Longines Spirit Flyback watch. Okay, I get it. I'm not going to use this mechanical precision commuting to and from my place of work, but come on, guys. You're not going 6,000 metres underwater with your Planet Ocean Ultra Deep either, so suck it up. I still love this. The flyback complication is relevant because you absolutely can buy yourself a COSC certified Longines Spirit Chrono without the flyback, and it will cost you roughly £1,000 less brand new to do that. To get technical for a moment, this is a higher tier of mechanical technology as far as chronos are concerned. Equipped with a column wheel and a flyback function, a silicon balance spring with anti-magnetic properties, some would say we're at the top tier of chronos here, and while £4,250 isn't insignificant, it's definitely not what you pay for Zenith, Omega and others. Other flyback chronos include the classic Omega Speedmaster Professional, the Moonwatch of course, the Breitling Navitimer Chronograph, and the Zenith Big Date Flyback. Noteworthy is that Rolex Daytona is not a flyback, so suck it up, Rolex boys. Alright, the Yachtmaster 2 is, but you know, who wants to resist an opportunity to tweak the Rolex bros? The Longines also has COSC certification. This week on Phil is crap at speaking French. Contrôle officiel suisse de chronomètre. Don't get away with that. It even has resistance to 100 meters of water, which you cannot hope for on your Speedmaster Professional, which are notoriously vulnerable to water. Sapphire crystal front and back. The front is protected with scratch resistance and several layers of anti-reflective coating. It's a 42mm dial, which is a big ask for some and will certainly be off-putting for many women. And the weight and thickness might hold some back. This is 17mm thick, guys. That's more than a bit chunky. In chunky watch terms, it's more than a Moonwatch, which is 13.2mm, a Speedmaster Racing, which is 14.7mm, and it's only 1mm behind the Planet Ocean Ultra Deep and 0.7mm behind a Rolex Sea Dweller. The Longines is running an L791.4 caliber movement. It has a 60-second hand and a 30-minute counter at the 3 o'clock position. This mechanism gives you up to 68 hours of power reserve. Flipping the watch over, you get to see this lovely windowed case back. I think they've done a good job with the styling, and it has the etched L791.4 in gold with blue lettering, Longines Flyback on the rotor. The case is brushed stainless steel, unless you opt for the titanium of course, and there are polished chamfers. The dial is gorgeous, in my opinion, with this metallic blue and the gold edging to the applied markers, arrows and hands. If you prefer, you can opt for the Sunray Black option that has a chocolatey quality that works equally well with the gold. Despite being a chrono, which are absolutely prone to being complicated pieces, this is a clear and easy read. I give you, as Exhibit A, the Zenith Chronomaster Sport El Primero 3600 with the date marker between 20 and 25 past and the seconds divided into tenths. Additionally, bezel fans, this has an unidirectional ceramic bezel which is extremely well executed with a firm click, no back play and plenty of grip to satisfy those moments when your ADHD takes over or you need to boil an egg or something. I mean, honestly, what are these things for if they're not the most expensive fidget toys in the world? My favourite in the lineup is the blue on blue option with the synthetic blue strap, which I've mentioned before. It has a great stainless steel clasp and a micro adjustment to get the fitting absolutely perfect. So what's not to like here? Well, I can objectively point out a few things. The first and most obvious is possibly the 17mm thickness. If you don't like a whole chunk of watch on your wrist, this is probably not for you. And likewise, there's no 38mm alternative that is going to suit a daintier wrist. You need to be able to carry off 42mm convincingly. The next thing that I'd point out is that at £4,200 MSRP, by the way, I did get offered £4,000 pretty easily when I asked for a discount. I imagine that you could get that under £4,000 by simply asking another AD to beat it. There's a lot of competition out there at that price point. No, it won't get you a brand new Speedmaster, but it definitely puts you in recent example with box and papers territory. Make no bones about it, any chronograph that wanders into that £4,000 plus landscape really has to justify itself very strongly. And I can understand anyone who wants to take the timeless classic instead. Save just a little bit longer and now you're in Breitling Navitime chronograph country. And for many, the Breitling might just be too much to ignore. While I don't buy watches to invest, which I'm sorry, I'm actually quite against the idea of buying and flipping and that kind of thing. I don't expect my watch purchases to hold their value over time and effectively cost me nothing. I'm wary of any watch that looks like I'm just going to ditch a bunch of money into it. While that Longines Spirit from 2022 sitting on Chrono 24 at less than £1,500 is a bargain for some, it's a warning to others. That's a 3K watch that has halved in value. I don't relish the likelihood of seeing my £4,250 Longines chronograph listed at 2K mint condition with box and papers in a couple of years. But maybe that's just the perilous state of our hobby overall. Nobody ever said this wasn't a black hole for money. One thing that I kind of get out of Longines is an Alfa Romeo vibe. Beautiful car, horrible depreciation. Perhaps these are the watches that you're better off taking second hand. Let me know if you agree or disagree with that assessment. Is there anything else that I don't like about this watch or that would stop me from recommending it? Personally, no. And if you go into it with your eyes open, knowing about the downsides, I think it's gorgeous. And if I saw it on your wrist, it would be a conversation starter. Is it on my list? I'm honestly undecided. But that's something, because I know that of all the other watches I've had on my wrist over the last 10 days, absolutely none of them have won me over to the point of me making plans to purchase them. As great as some of them honestly are. And that's the great thing about watches. What you might fall in love with just might not be my cup of tea. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Please give me your thoughts on this watch. Should I put it on my chase list? Would you take it over the Breitling Navitimer or the Omega Speedmaster Professional? Drop me a comment below. Don't forget to like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, give the button a click. I'll see you in the next video where I'll have a big update on my renovation project. Bye for now.